Welcome back to Will Talk Entertainment. I am here featuring women in racing, and we have one of the premier racers. Even though she doesn't think of herself as one, but I'm looking at her as a pioneer because women are more women are racing, and she's just set the record for the 1/8.
Yeah, so this is currently the world's fastest Gen 3 CTSV with a stock blower, stock bottom end, and 8 mile. Yeah, so it's
That
a
is
micro
awesome.
record, but it's still a record.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, this is Jadie. She's racing a Streetcar Takeover this weekend. You race pretty much all over the country, right? Or
Not
mainly
really, just the Mid-Atlantic area.
Mid-Atlantic?
I did race in Florida earlier this year at Cadillac Attack, but yeah, I pretty much stay in like that Maryland, Virginia area.
So how did you get started in racing? And for all those young ladies out there that want to get started in racing, obviously you have an affinity towards cars and racing. How did that all start?
So my story is really similar to a lot of people. Dad, uncle, everyone was into cars, within some capacity. So my dad liked to go fast. My dad's brother, my uncle, he liked off-roading and, that going on trails. And then my grandfather was actually into like lowriders and like classic cars. He had a really awesome old Cadillac, I remember as a young kid. And just as I grew up, I really started getting into like the imports, like most of us, you know. So the drifting scene back then just really captured my attention. So I started drifting with my 99 Miata, which is one of the best cars ever made.
I would agree with that. I totally agree with that.
And I've always had a thing for JDM vehicles. Love twisties, mountain driving, all of that good stuff. It wasn't until maybe a few years ago, honestly, where I really started getting heavily into just going fast in a straight line and actually respecting that sport. Because I'm not going to lie, many years ago, I was like, oh, road course racing and drifting's way better, but I have learned and have been very humble that going straight in a fast line is not that easy to do.
Yep, and I've tried to do it. I've done it. There's so much that you have to think about before you head down that track. Whereas when your car is set up for the track, you go, and you as long as you got your brakes and your brake fluid, and you've done all the things you need to get ready to go on the track. Nothing to it. But here, there's so much more thinking that you have to do before that you hit the green light and you're ready to go.
It's definitely not just a car game, like who has the biggest build. It's definitely a driver mod as well. So seat time is equally as important in drag racing, just like other forms of motorsport, for sure.
Okay. So now track and drag strips are two completely different things. When it comes to the drag strip, what made you choose the Cadillac CTSV?
So after the Miata, my first introduction to
So we just had to pause as we salute our country with the Star Spangled Banner. But I think I was asking you, like, what made you choose the CTSV? And you came from the 99 Miata, which is a great car. CTSVs are great. You see a lot of them here at Streetcar Takeover. So what made you choose this car?
So my first introduction to domestics and V8s, it was a Pontiac G8 GT, which I miss to this day. It was actually a really cool car. NA, but it was loud. It was just all of America, every time I started up. And then after that, it just kind of naturally progressed to, all right, what's next? And that's when we purchased the second generation CTSV. So I did have a V2. It was a 2012 CTSV, and did some minor little things to that. After that, here we are now. So in 2018, I picked up my CTSV, flew out to Wisconsin, came back to Virginia, and it's just kind of, history from there.
So what have you, I know it's a stock bottom end. What else have you done to it?
So there's really not a huge list of mods. For the Gen 3 CTSVs, I consider what I've done pretty much like the basics of what most people do. So it does have full exhaust, so headers all the way back.
Okay.
It does have like the aftermarket DSX lid. It's the stock blower, but it's ported by Conch Performance.
Okay.
It's got the larger throttle body, intake, upper lower pulley, upgraded fuel injectors. It's got meth injection, and it's tuned on
Oh,
E85 with
okay.
HB tuners. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So yeah, you haven't done as much as some of, but you've done enough, which explains how you're able to get the record in a 1.8. That's plenty, especially with the meth. That's yeah. I've gone up against a car with meth. I've learned my lesson about that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a big difference when
Yeah.
when we added that to the car. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure. But that's awesome. So, what do you plan to do? What was your last time? The last time you were out here, what did you run?
So I typically run a no time series in
Okay.
Maryland. And it's an 8th mile no time. So I don't post a lot of my times. Obviously, with a big event like this, the times are posted for the public to see. Luckily, it's not my best time, so people still don't know what I'm going to be capable of.
Right.
But I'm in that low to mid 9-second range in the quarter. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. Yeah. Well, we look forward to seeing you out there on the track, and it's been a pleasure to meet you. For those who want to contact you, or if they just want to ask a question about what it's like for a woman in racing, where can they find you? Where can they contact you?
People can reach out to me via Instagram. So it's Jadie Mazing, JADIEMAZING. So right here. You guys can DM me. I am literally just a regular person. I work corporate. I do, I'm not some crazy influencer, so anybody can DM me. I am open to answering any questions anyone may have. Best advice that I have to anyone, not just women, but anybody that wants to get into motorsports, just do it. You have to show up. That is the hardest part, and it's gonna be cake afterwards.
Okay.
A lot of times drag racing, you do test and tunes, they're like $25-$30. They're so cheap, way cheaper than like track cross and HPD and autocross.
Yep.
It's totally a life changer and a game changer, just being able to floor it and go really fast in your car. You don't need a fast car. You don't need a race car. You can bring any vehicle and have fun at the track. So just show up is the best advice that I have.
That is a great point, because I think what happens with a lot of people who come to the drag strip, they get caught up in times instead of just enjoying yourself and enjoying the process of learning how to run on the track, because it's a long road. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. How to set yourself up, how to stage yourself. So just go out there, like you said, show up and enjoy it, and start that way. Start slow and build yourself up to eventually you get to be her where you're breaking records on the 1.8. So, well, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much for giving us some time.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, and it's an honor to actually be able to interview you, and we wish you the best of luck out there.
All right, thank you.